From a $2 billion mega mansion to a $50,000 tiny home, this is the billionaire house tier list. Vladimir Putin has a net worth of $200 billion and he's got a palace with an underground bunker. S tier. Mark Zuckerberg bought 1,000 football fields of land in Hawaii so he could build a massive compound with a self-sustainable underground bunker, over a dozen houses including 2 mansions, and a web of disc-shaped tree houses connected by rope bridges. Solid B tier. In 1984, Steve Jobs bought a California mansion called the Jackling House. It was designed in 1925 by famous architect George Washington Smith for famous rich guy Daniel Jackling. Steve Jobs wanted to burn it down. California said no, because of its historical significance. Steve Jobs really wanted to burn it down. He went on record calling the house a dump. He said Jackling had no taste and that George Washington Smith was a nobody. He then abandoned the house and let it rot for 10 years. The house became such a mess that he was finally given permission to destroy it. 8 months later, he died, making the brutal destruction of this innocent house one of Steve Jobs' final victories. I don't get why he hated on this house so much. I'd say it's a strong C tier. World famous pharmaceutical salesman El Chapo had a peak net worth of $12 billion. He was said to have houses at every single beach and a ranch in every single state. He also had the government looking for him at every single state. So rather than living in his luxurious mansions, he was forced to stay in discreet safe houses to avoid the law. These unassuming homes had hidden escape routes, connecting Chapo to a network of underground tunnels that allowed him to escape capture and keep his drug empire running. This man was a Harriet Tubman of crack. Solid F tier. Donald Trump's official residence is a 17-acre Florida resort called Mar-a-Lago. After buying it in 1985, Donald made a few changes. In his yard, he put an 80-foot tall American flag. In his bathroom, he added a few classified documents from the White House. But the biggest change he made was turning the property into an exclusive club. For a $200,000 entry fee, you could become a Mar-a-Lago member and hang out with rich people, like Jeffrey Epstein. He was a member of Trump's club until 2007, when he got kicked out for hitting on a teenager. Classic Jeffrey. The club's been printing over $20 million a year, making Mar-a-Lago one of Trump's most lucrative investments. It's a somewhat controversial house, but it is a nice place. Being the Queen of England has a lot of perks. You get the coolest jewelry collection of all time. You get to drive a Bentley limo without needing a license. You get to pay taxes when you feel like it. But the coolest part of being the Queen is living in the $5 billion Buckingham Palace. This 775-room behemoth has everything you need to be the ultimate rich person. You got a throne room, a multi-billion-dollar art gallery, London's biggest private garden, and an ATM in your basement so you can take out a brick and flex on your 800 staff members. This place is so big, it has its own zip code. I think I'm too poor to even be looking at this house. Larry Page, the co-founder of Google, has 5 private islands. What is Larry Page doing on his 5 private islands? Nearby locals haven't noticed anything unusual except for a few helicopters. But in a 2013 conference, we may have gotten a glimpse into the answer.
There's many exciting and important things you could do that you just can't do because they're illegal. But maybe we should set aside a small part of the world where we can try out some new things and figure out what is the effect on society, what's the effect on people.
So in case you can't read between the lines, Larry Page is using his islands to perform human experiments on children. S tier. In a 2010 letter to shareholders, stock market genius Warren Buffett said that his 3rd best investment was his house. In 1958, he bought a $30,000 home in a quiet neighborhood of Omaha, Nebraska. The property is now worth over 40 times what he bought it for, which might seem like an amazing financial return. However, if he had instead invested that $30K into the stock market, he would have made $3 million. The reason Buffett considers his house such a good investment is not because of numbers, but because of the memories it brought him and his family. Mukesh Ambani, the richest man in India, dropped $2 billion on a 27-story mega mansion in the middle of the hood. Creative visionary Kanye West said this in a 2018 interview.
I'm gonna be one of the biggest real estate developers of all time. I'm tired of the McMansions, all the Spanish roof homes and stuff like that. Like, that shit whack, bro. Like, everybody house whack. It's trash.
Kanye bought this house in 2023. It was originally a church in Los Angeles that he planned to use for his Donda Academy school, but it's since been left to rot. In 2019, Kanye started building massive dome-shaped structures inspired by Star Wars that he believed would revolutionize affordable housing. He was seconds away from solving the homelessness crisis when California shut him down because they already have tents for that. Recently, Kanye bought a $57 million Malibu home, paid someone 20 grand a week to destroy it, then listed it back up for sale for $4 million less than what he bought it for. And on top of that, the guy that he paid to destroy it, turns out he never paid him. So now he's also getting sued. After taking L after L after L, Kanye officially announced that he would be building a 100,000 acre city in the Middle East. Jack Ma, the founder of Alibaba, bought a $191 million mansion on the tallest hill on Hong Kong Island. It offers a beautiful view of the world's most unaffordable city. However, Mr. Ma might not be able to appreciate this view any longer, because in late 2020 at an economic conference, he made the grave mistake of criticizing the Chinese government. Jack Ma isn't dead, by the way. He ended up reappearing in China a few months later. Hopefully Supreme Leader Xi Jinping let him keep his cool house. Michael Jordan's mansion could be yours for $14,855,000. It's actually been on sale for over a decade. The main reason no one's buying it is because it's in Illinois. On top of that, a lot of the home's features are too unique to Jordan. Not many buyers would want front gates with someone else's jersey number, a theater with someone else's logo, and a basketball court with the names of someone else's kids. Marking your territory is effective for keeping people from eating your pizza and also keeping people from buying your house. Now, to the average broke person like myself, having a $15 million house that's not selling might seem like an absolute disaster, but for Michael Jordan, he's probably not that worried. Solid D tier. Jeff Bezos launched Amazon.com from the garage of a house he was renting for $890 a month. He's now the 25th largest landowner in the United States. Jeff has properties all across the country. His main home was a $10 million mansion in Washington, until 2023 when he moved to Florida so he could be closer to his family, and further from the IRS. He lives on a man-made island off the coast of Miami, where he bought a $68 million mansion. 2 months later, he spent $79 million on the one next door. It's a pretty chill place, I'd say B tier. But he's also evading taxes, so that bumps him up to A tier. Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman dropped 300 mil on a French chateau. It has a nightclub, a moat with an underwater aquarium, and modern technology that can all be controlled with an iPhone. The building might seem like a historic landmark, but it was actually built in 2009 by Saudi businessman Ahmad Khashoggi. The wealthy developer probably won't be doing business with the Crown Prince anytime soon, because in 2018, according to the CIA, the Crown Prince assassinated his cousin. If Ahmad and the Crown Prince ever link up again, that might be an awkward conversation. It's a pretty cool house though. Billionaire's Row is a New York City neighborhood with the tallest and most expensive buildings in the world. The people that buy these apartments aren't buying apartments, they're investing in furnished capitalism.
The majority of people who are actually living here aren't actually living here. They're using these apartments for places to store value.
It's a brand. It's like a Birkin bag. Where do you live? 157. Where do you live? 111. Where do you live? 220.
In 2019, billionaire investor Ken Griffin bought 4 floors of 220 Central Park South for $238 million, making it the most expensive real estate purchase in the United States. 220 holds the most desirable view in the city, being the only Billionaire's Row tower located directly on Central Park. I mess with Ken Griffin, but I think $240 million for a concrete brick is a little bit too much. Bill Gates has a $150 million complex in Washington. It has an epic library with a manuscript written by Leonardo da Vinci. That's the only interior footage of his house on the internet, so some of the following visuals will be made with AI.
AI is a brilliant tool.
Bill Gates has a 60-foot indoor swimming pool. Inside of it is an underwater sound system, but that's nothing compared to his personal Lake Washington beach that has sand imported from the Caribbean. He also has a trampoline room, walls covered in screens, and his favorite tree that he monitors electronically 24 hours a day. There's some cool tech in this house, I'd say a solid B tier. In 2002, Larry Ellison, the co-founder of Oracle, got a letter from his accountant. It listed a few of his expenses, like his $25 million villa in Japan, $194 million yacht, and $200 million Japanese temple in California. Larry's net worth at the time was $23 billion, but his accountant was still concerned. I'm worried, Larry. It's imperative that we start to budget and plan. New purchases should be kept.
Oracle CEO and billionaire Larry Ellison has just made a rather large investment or purchase. He's just bought the island of Lanai.
S tier. Kim Kardashian bought a $20 million home in 2014 with her then husband Kanye West. They spent 3 years transforming it into what they described as a minimal monastery and what others described as an expensive psych ward. This house is a really cool art project.
Now you're in the middle of this strange time where you're selling your houses. You say you don't want any material possessions, and
I'm slightly sad about it, actually.
well, if you're sad about it, why are you doing it?
On May 1st of 2020, Elon Musk announced that he would be selling almost all physical possessions, including his homes. And he stayed true to his word, selling off each of his California mansions one by one. He then acquired a $50,000 tiny home.
I think possessions kind of weigh you down. Then they're kind of an attack vector. People say, "Hey, billionaire, you got all this stuff." I'm like, well, now I don't have stuff. Now what are you gonna do?
Elon's $50,000 tiny home is actually his guest house. His main home is a South Texas rental property. It's technically only worth 45 grand, but he also spent 200,000 building an 8-foot fence around it and covering it with security cameras. Elon says he got rid of his stuff when he sold off his $100 million real estate portfolio, but considering that only accounts for 0.05% of his wealth, he still has a lot of stuff after all.